It always starts small. First, it was the letters. Then came the warnings. And finally, when I didn't bend to their ridiculous rules, the so-called HOA cops decided they'd make my life miserable. What they didn't know was that I wasn't the type to back down. When they kept targeting my ranch mailbox like it was their personal demolition derby practice, I decided enough was enough. I was going to build a mailbox they would never forget. I moved to Cedar Creek Ranch 5 years ago for peace and space. My land stretched across rolling hills with enough pasture for cattle and enough privacy to keep the noise of the city away. The only reminder that civilization wasn't too far was the small neighborhood down the road, run by a notorious homeowners association. I wasn't part of their HOA, but my property sat on the same county road. That detail didn't matter to them. They treated me like one of their subjects. From day one, the self-proclaimed HOA cops, a group of board members who fancied themselves enforcers, had been on my case. They wore uniforms, drove golf carts with sirens mounted on top, and acted like their word was law at first. It was annoying but harmless. Then it turned personal. My ranch mailbox sat at the edge of my property near the dusty road. It wasn't fancy, just a simple steel box on a post, but it did its job. One morning I walked out to collect my mail and found the box smashed flat, tire tracks curving through the gravel. At first, I thought it was a reckless teenager. I rebuilt it. 2 days later, the same thing happened. This time, caught a glimpse of the culprits. A white HOA patrol golf cart with flashing lights, tearing away down the road while two smug bored members laughed their heads off. My blood boiled. I rebuilt the mailbox again, but every time I fixed it, they destroyed it. Once with a golf cart, and once with a pickup. Another time, someone backed into it just to hear the crunch of metal. For 3 weeks, it became a twisted game, me rebuilding, them destroying. The breaking point came on a Monday morning. I walked out, coffee in hand, and found the mailbox not only smashed but ripped completely out of the ground and thrown into my pasture. The letters I had been waiting for, important documents, were scattered in the mud. That was it. I wasn't going to the sheriff. The sheriff already knew these clowns and treated them like harmless nuisances. Just let it go, son, he'd told me. They're HOA folks with too much time on their hands. No, not this time. I was raised to handle problems directly. This wasn't about a mailbox anymore. This was about respect if they wanted to keep running over my mailbox. I'd give them a mailbox they'd regret hitting. I went to the local steel yard and bought a 6-inch thick steel pipe, the kind used for fencing around oil rigs. Then I poured nearly 500 pounds of concrete into the hole where the old post had been. I set the steel pipe deep and welded a heavy-gauge steel box to the top. To finish it off, I painted it the same dull black as before. From a distance, it looked like any other rural mailbox, but it wasn't. This thing wasn't going anywhere. A truck could slam into it at 40 miles per hour, and the truck would lose. I stepped back, admiring my work. Mailbox 2.0, I muttered. Let's see what you think of this one. It didn't take long. At Friday night, I heard the familiar hum of a golf cart outside. Then came the sound wham, followed by a metallic crunch and a shriek of tires. I rushed out with a flashlight. There, nose first into my new mailbox, was their prized patrol cart. The front bumper had crumpled like paper. The driver, none other than HOA Enforcer-in-Chief, Karen herself, staggered out holding her head. Her partner groaned from the passenger seat. My mailbox? Not a scratch. You sabotaged it, Karen screamed, pointing at me with shaking hands. I crossed my arms. You mean I built a mailbox that doesn't roll over and play dead every time you idiots take a swing at it? She stomped her foot like a child. This is against county code. Can't just build a tank in front of your property. Left. Funny, because the county inspector signed off on it yesterday. Her face went pale. She hadn't expected that. After that night, word spread quickly. But instead of stopping, the HOA cops doubled down. They hated that I'd outsmarted them. Over the next 2 weeks, I found evidence of new tests. Someone had tried hitting the mailbox with a pickup, judging by the broken headlight fragments left behind. Another time, I found deep scratches along the steel. Proof that someone had taken a baseball bat to it. Every time. My mailbox stood tall. Meanwhile, their vehicles didn't fare so well. One board member limped around with a cast on his wrist. After trying to ram it with his ATV, another quietly dropped out of the patrol squad. After denting his wife's SUV, the war had shifted. I wasn't on defense anymore, they were. Of course, Karen wasn't going to let it end there. One evening, she marched up my driveway with 2 county deputies trailing behind her. She was waving papers like a victory flag. "This man is endangering public safety with his armored mailbox," she shrieked. The deputies glanced at the mailbox, then at each other. One of them shrugged. "Ma'am, it looks like a normal mailbox to me. If anything, it's one of the sturdiest we've seen." Karen's jaw dropped. But people keep getting hurt when they hit it. Couldn't resist. Maybe they should stop hitting it then. The deputies fought hard to keep from laughing. They told Karen there was no violation, no case, nothing they could do. She stormed off, red-faced and fuming. The HOA cops tried one last time to make their point. Late one Saturday night, I heard a roaring engine outside. I grabbed my flashlight and ran to the gate just in time to see headlights barreling down the road. A black pickup, bigger than the rest, was aimed straight at my mailbox. I held my breath. The truck hit with an ear-splitting crash. Metal groaned. The engine sputtered and died. The front end of the pickup folded like tinfoil, steam pouring from the hood. My mailbox? Still standing proud, with nothing more than a fresh smear of paint from the truck's bumper, the driver stumbled out, another HOA board member. He collapsed onto the dirt, groaning that thing's a death trap. I called the sheriff myself. This time, they couldn't ignore it. DUI, reckless driving, property damage, the works. The HOA's elite patrol was officially finished. After that night, my mailbox was left alone. Word spread through Cedar Creek like wildfire. Don't mess with the rancher's box. Even the mailman started chuckling when he delivered my letters, tipping his hat and saying, "That's one fortress of a mailbox you've got there?" As for the HOA, their board meetings grew quieter. Patrol carts disappeared. Karen eventually resigned after too many complaints from her own neighbors. And me. I still check my mail every morning with a cup of coffee in hand. Now, I do it with a smile. Because every time I look at that mailbox, I don't just see steel and concrete. I see a symbol, a reminder that when people push you around long enough, sometimes the best way to fight back is to stand firm and refuse. To be moved, just like my mailbox. This story is just the beginning. There is so much more ahead. Subscribe to the channel to join me on this journey.